Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report on NXT tonight. What a NXT we have for you. Coming up, R-Truth makes a rare appearance on NXT when he takes on the loudmouth Grayson Waller. Can R-Truth shut up Grayson Waller? We'll talk about that coming up. Also, too, Mandy Rose celebrates 1 year reign as NXT Women's Champion. It's been a full year. Mandy Rose is in the building as the celebrates her 1 year reign as champion. Also, too, NXT champion Braun Breaker makes an appearance. What's Braun has in store? Also, too, Odyssey Jones is in action. And we get behind what's going on with Schism. Whatever they call themselves, John the Rock's daughter making a rare appearance as well. Also, too, in hot topics, we talk about the surrounding details about Crown Jewel. We'll be getting the latest updates on WWE roster going to Crown Jewel and what's going on with the King of Saudi Arabia is under some attack going on. We'll talk about that. Into Becky Lynch makes a rare appearance. Becky Lynch gonna be on Young Rock. And you won't guess what rock and roll icon Becky Lynch will play. We'll get to this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report, and it starts right now. Hello, everyone. This is Kendra Dix for your NXT Ring Report here tonight. We thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show on the NXT Ring Report. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. This is the NXT Ring Report, and we thank you for watching. As you see right here, we told you these are the list of matches and segments that's going to be on NXT. Well, we're going to get things started. And we're going to get things started indeed with this. NXT champion Braun Breaker kick off the show, making a rare appearance. Braun Breaker, the NXT champion, who's been on the road ever since winning that triple threat match from Illinois Dragunov and JD Madonna. Well, the NXT Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly came out there to cause a stir, but NXT North American Champion Wes Lee made an appearance. It was a word of words between the Tag Team Champions, with all the NXT Champions, the World Champion and the North American Champion, and the Tag Champions. Well, NXT got more interesting too, as the tag team champions didn't realize that the world champion and the North American champion want their gold, and they was gonna get set tonight, set in stone, tag team action, and they did. It was gonna be a tag team match for the tag team championship. Braun Breaker teaming up with the Wes Lee, both of them top champion, secondary champion, teaming up against the tag team champions in a match. So we'll get to see that later on tonight. Well, R-Truth said what was up. R-Truth made an appearance, as R-Truth does. R-Truth is that, the truth. And R-Truth went against Grayson Waller in a match. Well, during the match, R-Truth suffered an injury, tried to take a tumble, and he paid for it. R-Truth had to be escorted, and the referee had to call an X, leaving Truth out the ring. So R-Truth, we hope everything's okay. R-Truth came out there to entertain. Grayson Waller didn't feel like playing. R-Truth 50 years old. R-Truth needs to slow it down. He ain't no spring chicken though. He ain't no young boy no more. He's no spring chicken, like call it. R-Truth with the attack happened tonight. Try to do that leap and fraud and miss. He paid for it at the end. So hey, prayers with R-Truth at this moment. Hopefully everything is okay with Truth. Hope he gets help. Speaking of that, Joe Gacy had invited his group to sit down with Vic Joseph. Vic Joseph asked him, and The Rock's daughter, Ava, spoke more. She looks more like her daddy. When you think of, look at her face. She looks more like her dad, and she was trying to speak intelligent and trying to be the masterpiece, the mouthpiece. And she got her point across, but like I said, she's gonna be one tough cookie to beat. I don't know how, but we'll see how this is gonna go. We know next week Joe Gacy will be in action next week as he takes on Cameron Grimes as he tried to recruit Cameron Grimes into the fold. We'll see this match next week between Gacy and Grimes next week. So we'll see that. Also, too, um, NXT Women's Champion, Women's Champion, Mandy Rose, and we get a clear picture of her. Director, can we get a picture? Can we get a picture, director? Can we get a picture? I guess the director's trying to see the NXT Women's Champion. Mandy Rose made a rare appearance. Mandy Rose in tow with her crew, JC Dolan and Gigi whatever, I forgot her name, but I know the other one. Mandy Rose looking in peak top condition, celebrate 1 year as NXT Women's Champion. But it got the party got ruined as Alba Fire came out there and won a piece of Mandy Rose 1 minute, 1 bit. Alba Fire issued the challenge in 2 weeks that she wants to fight Mandy Rose 1-on-1. And this time for the Women's Championship, she knows she can beat Mandy Rose. But this time, we'll have to wait and see how that's going to progress. But Alba Fire wants a shot at Mandy Rose in the Women's Championship. So we'll see that match in 2 weeks' time at Mandy Rose and Alba Fire for the NXT Women's Championship. So we'll see that match. Also, too, speaking of championships, Robert Stone came out of nowhere to issue a challenge to Braun Breaker to take on Von Wagner. Braun Breaker dusted Robert Stone off and told him, go somewhere, man. And I think he didn't take an issue warning lightly. We'll see that later. Speaking of that, Elektra Lopez feeling a little bit slighted after her group, El Fantasma, now members of the SmackDown roster, left her high and dry. Well, she said she's gonna be her own boss and do her own rules. So Elektra Lopez calling the shots and calling the shots indeed. Her own. We don't know if there's gonna be an alliance between her and Tony D'Angelo. Only time will tell on that. But we'll just have to wait and see on that and how that's gonna play out. Odyssey Jones was in action. Odyssey Jones was in action against Jarvis Bahama and won his match. Odyssey Jones proving the fact that he is one of the definitions that he's coming back. He's like a newer version of Mark Henry when you think about it. So how that might be coming up. Also, too, Cora J was in action. Cora J in action. She won her match over some jobber and won her match decisively. Cora J getting the job done. Cora J could be down the line being women's championship contention. We'll see how this is going to play out, but she took out the jobber, so Cora J won her match distinctly. Speaking of women's tag team champions, we know next week, Kayden Carr and Katana Chance defend the tag team titles against Nikita Lyons and Zoe Starks. Zoe Starks and Nikita Lyons have been somewhat as a threat in a way, has been calling them out. So we know next week they'll get a chance to go for the championship next week, the women's tag team titles. And we'll see if Zoe Starks and Nikita Lyons has what it takes to take the championships away from Kayden Carr and Chance. We'll see next week. So speaking of that, let's see. Speaking of that, we'll talk about coming up on the main roster women's tag team championships and what's going on Hot Topics a little bit later in the show. Also, too, what's her name? Indy Hartwell, she was in action. She won her match. Indy Hartwell getting a win. And actually, everybody getting a win in these matches against jobbers. Another woman won her match. I forgot her name, but she likes to type the computer and stuff. She won her match as well. So a lot of people are winning their matches tonight. And it ended up tonight, the main event, Braun Breaker teaming up with North American champion Wes Lee to take on the tag team champion, Pretty Deadly, in the tag team championship match. Things did look set on for Breaker and Lee until Carmelo Hayes got involved and cost Lee the championships. But this is what we saw right here at the end. Von Wagner attacked Braun Breaker, the NXT champion, and issued a warning that he wants his belt, the NXT championship belt. So we'll see how this is gonna play out down the road. Von Wagner told him, his manager told Braun Breaker that Von Wagner won the shot at the championship. Braun Breaker didn't take heed to it, and now Braun Breaker paying for the price of what he had done. So you'll see that match down the road whenever it'll be. Probably for NXT deadline if it makes sense of them kind of prolonging it. So we'll see that match end up sooner rather than later. So we'll see. All right. That ends the NXT Ring Report. We're going to move forward. Like I said, that was the NXT Ring Report. We're going to move forward to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, we got a lot to get into, so we're going to get to this. Becky Lynch, the man, WWE superstar Becky Lynch, was set to appear on the season 1 episode of Young Rock, and she's playing rock and roll icon Cyndi Lauper. Many of you may recall Cyndi Lauper was the one on the Rock and Wrestling Connection to bridge the gap between wrestling and music to help set the foundation like it was for WrestleMania. So Becky Lynch will be playing Cyndi Lauper. I look forward to seeing it, so we'll see it going forward and how that's going to play out eventually. So you see right here, they said right here, this is the somewhat the press release. Becky Lynch will be part of Young Rock, and saying the premiere episode of The People You Need features the plot. After losing the election, Dwayne Johnson's withdrawal from politics, Rocky Johnson learned the consequences to crossing Vince McMahon. So this might be an interesting show to see. I don't know why it's on a Friday rather than we was using the normal time slot on a Tuesday, but it is what it is. Speaking of that, Crown Jewel is this Saturday, exclusively on Peacock in the U.S. and the WWE Network outside the international. Now there's been reports that WWE may have to worry about what's going on in Saudi Arabia, as there has been a threat going on with Saudi Arabia. So hopefully WWE can resolve and solve those issues going forward. Hopefully things are okay. But we'll get the latest more coming up on pro wrestling shows tomorrow and throughout for the predicted outcome for Crown Jewel. We learn any more information. So this is what they're talking about right here. Saying Saudi Arabia has shared intelligence with the U.S. warning of an imminent attack from Iran on the targets in the kingdom. So hopefully WWE will take heed on that and see what's going on. This was the Wall Street Journal sent this press release out about Saudi Arabia has shared intelligence with the U.S. warning of an imminent threat from attack targets. So hopefully, we hope everything's okay. Also, too, Daniel Dijak has been listed in the internal roster. We don't know if he's going to be on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. We've been getting some teases as of late that this could be him. So we'll have to wait and see who that could be. Dijak, well, this looked like him right now in the behind. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. And let's just hope everything is okay. Speaking of that, Roman Reigns celebrates 10 years as a WWE main star roster member. Since 2012, as him and Seth Rollins celebrate their 10 years on the main roster when they both came together as the Shield. Seth was a indie darling and came from the indies. Roman came as WWE manufactured. So now we know that WWE is going to be celebrating both men as members of the Shield, and this is what they said to commemorate a decade of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. WWE is kicking off a month-long celebration across social media platforms today. What about Dean Ambrose? They forgot about Dean Ambrose. So, you know that Dean Ambrose, who normally now is Moxley in AEW. You know, you see, I guess they said, no, Moxley ain't gonna be part of this one, but Moxley was 10 years ago. But hey, speaking of that, WWE released some stars. Remember him? He was part of that group. I don't know. They probably bring him back. Who knows? WWE released stars, and we'll see how that's gonna pan out eventually. I guess that's kind of it right now. Um. Oh, hey. All right. So we're gonna run down what's going on in NXT next week. Cameron Grimes taking on Joe Gacy. We know Joe Gacy wanted to recruit Cameron Grimes into his group, but Cameron Grimes rejected. So we see these two men fight next week. Also, too, the women's tag team titles online. Tita Chance and Caitlin Carter takes on Zoe Starks and the Key Alliance. We'll see that match next week as well. As well as this match has been boiling. A 5-minute challenge. Brutus Creed take on Damian Creed. I don't know what's going on with that, but we just have to wait and see on that one and see how that's going to fare out and pan out. All right, that's going to end it. We're going to end it with this right here that we saw right here. Von Wagner attacking Braun Breaker, leaving him out to the pasture. And we're going to see why Von Wagner did what he did. He wants a championship match. That's all. He wants the championship and wants the money and prestige. So we're going to end it with that. Thank you all for watching the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report. We'll see you tomorrow for the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I've been your host, Kendrick Dick, saying so long and have a good night.